Let's get the panel up here. Thank you. Okay, so we've got Tom Madden, who you met, and Dr. Westlaw, who you met, and Dr. Woodbridge. The other guy you haven't met is Dalton Thielens. He's the president of WEL Companies. So what we have here is the two docs you know, and an insurance guy and a business leader. Okay, these are on our side. They're in not because they're good guys, not because they're friends, because their incentives are aligned with us. What works for us works for them.
I wanted to ask Dr. Woodbridge if he would just sketch out his basic model, how the primary care model works for a small business, particularly the negotiation of catastrophic insurance. When I was younger, I was able to buy cheap catastrophic insurance. Seems like I can't. Like I have to pay for the Cadillac policy, or that's it. I don't have any choice.
Yeah.
And
if I understand you correct, what am I doing exactly with the employer? How I'm setting this up? Okay. So what I do with an employer is I try to set up a plan that sits aside the regular plan. So over here is the machine, swipe your card insurance. Over here, you've got all the things involved with the machine over here. But over here on the right, what I do is I set up an alternate system, and everything in this system is cash pay.
Why is that side legal? Isn't that a loophole? Why can you do that?
Why? I can do that, if I understand your question correctly, because we aren't dealing with federal government payers, okay? We aren't dealing with Medicare, Medicaid. We're dealing with employees of a company. So we are able to do cash pay for all of the service that we do, and then we're paid by the company to provide those services.
Why can't an individual go do that on his own?
And you mean come and see us on their own,
or just find a plan? Just find people to give me health care. Why can't I just shop around and find an orthopedist for my ACL, find a cardiologist? Why can't I just buy a catastrophic plan on my own?
You can.
Why is it not happening, I guess? It's a leading question, but...
Okay, so as an individual, the challenge is the insurance companies that Scott pointed out so well that are involved. When you're a smaller employer or individual, you have a hard time getting a plan that gives you insurance when you exceed those bills you're willing to pay $600 for. You can absolutely go and see Brian and use his services, and he'll direct you to the best discounts, and you'll pay $600. Or like Scott was saying on his end with the echocardiograms, you'd pay $600, but your insurance is likely not covering that. You get to the employer level, like your company, and they specifically can build a plan with federal laws to keep everything tax deductible and use all of this.
So, what I can say is that we work with large and small employers. The large employers are on kind of a different model that we do. The small employers are on a slightly different, but the whole concept remains the same. We're trying to apply as much free market, as much cash pay as we possibly can. The larger companies they have more flexibility to do what we do. But go ahead.
Yeah, I guess what I was getting at earlier, Brian, was I think there are, and I don't know the answer, but I think there are insurance laws, regulations that would make it, if not illegal, extremely difficult for some person to just go out and cobble together the kind of thing that you're putting together with employers. Mm-hmm. My point being, this is why I keep pounding the alliance between employers and patients, because employers hire hundreds or thousands of people. They have the resources to direct those and to overcome legislative hurdles, cost hurdles. They can pool risk much better than any individual, and their incentives all align. So that's what I keep hammering. That's what I was going at. But I thought maybe you'd say, because there's a regulation XYZ LQR that, but you didn't know that because you just weren't smart enough. That's the problem, Brian.
The only regulation that we have to be careful of is that we are not providing free market care, cash pay care to Medicare recipients, because Medicare does not want that. They want you in the machine. They don't want you a part of this. So
Question was, flesh out the decline of the doctor-patient relationship. What is it that really accounts for that? One thought was, as a patient, I go in and my doctor's typing on a keyboard, putting information in, and thinks maybe the directive for how to treat this patient is coming from some authority. What do you think is really the cause of that relationship failing?
Well, I think there's no respect for the doctor-patient relationship from the other entities. The only ones that respect it are the doctor and the patient. And do you think these insurance companies care about the doctor-patient relationship when they're telling you that you got to go change all your doctors because they wanted to save a few bucks on their next contract? How many times has this happened? You got to this physician whom you've seen for years, who you love maybe, at least like, you trust this person with your life. You talk about each other's families. You maybe go to a family reunion of theirs. I've done it. Okay? That happens. And that relationship is not valued by the third parties. And so if they can save a few bucks on a contract, they're going to just ditch that. And now they're going to tell you, sorry, you got to go make a whole new relationship with a whole new person. And too bad. What? We shouldn't settle for this. Yeah. We
And
don't
you know,
have to settle for this.
I would add to that, we've seen a lot of hard data, objective facts, relationships. We've seen slides. We've heard a lot of information. It's very tangible. It's very objective. But what you just hit on, the most important things in life, you can't measure them. It's patriotism, it's love, the love of a child, wanting to avoid pain, fear. And this doctor-patient relationship that you and I, patients and doctors, we both sold it cheap. We failed to appreciate the sacred value of that relationship. And the hope for our fixing this system is that if we restore that, it feels right. It feels good. It's a very natural thing to want to trust what matters most to you in your life with someone you really trust and who's earned that trust. And it restores the free market when you do that. And it takes away the corporatization and the collectivization of the big companies. It's a win-win-win all around. It's right there in front of our face. But we need to leave here tonight knowing that and acting on it. Yes.
Okay, I have a quick question. I'm an OBGYN physician for 25 years who just retired early at the end of November because of burnout. They basically work you to your nth degree because they can get as much money out of you as possible. And our mindset back then, I don't know how old you guys are, we went to work, and we left when the work was done. We didn't leave after 8 hours. The mindset is totally different. So how do you attract physicians to become a part of something like this? How do you get us? I would, hands down, be a part of this. But how do you get these young people who come in? I tell you, they will say, oh, I did surgery at 7 a.m, so I get to leave at 3. Well, it doesn't work that way. People deliver babies at 5, 6 o'clock. You got to stay. So how do you make this work for the physicians?
So as you all know, really when we show that picture up there, the doctor-patient, I think most of us are really thinking of their primary care physicians. That they're thinking of their family doctor, their internist that they've had. And because of this value extraction, where all these third parties are extracting the value of that relationship, and they're simultaneously devaluing the physician doing the work, that's what's the source of the burnout is, because the people that are extracting the financial benefit out of that relationship are making more and more, and they want to make more and more. And that's why over the past 25, 30 years, you see more, I know by the time I was leaving the place I was at, I mean, I could not believe how many patients a day I was seeing. And, you got 6 minutes with them, 7 minutes with them. And and then at the end of the day, like you said, if the day doesn't end, now your day is just beginning documenting all those patient encounters until 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. So they have really just pummeled, that relationship to the point, and they've extracted all the value out of it. So how do you get them out of this? Dr. Dan said it. Employers have the answer. This is what I realized 5 years ago. Employers have the answer. They just need to understand to not use claims as much as possible. Use the right side over here at 60, 70, 80% discount on all these common things in healthcare. Just pay for them with cash, all right? So we have to have enough employers on board that I can now call up my acquaintances and I can say, hey guys, now's the time to make the jump. I have a nice quality of life. I get to spend, half an hour, 40 minutes with my patients now. I get to actually do good work with them. I actually get to follow up phone calls. Sometimes I call them on the to find out how it's going. How did it work out at the, with your cardiologist? How did it go with Dr. Westlow when I sent him over there? I actually have a quality of life now. I used to see 22, 23 patients a day. Now, I think tomorrow I've got 9 patients, and it's going to be the busiest day I've had in 2 months, So, I mean, this is the way it works, is that the employers have the answer. Employers have to be willing to pay for this. And once they do, I tell them, look, for every dollar you're spending on me, you're saving 2. Okay? You're spending $1 on me, you're saving 2. That's what's going to get me the revenue I need to hire more doctors. Okay?
Dalton, do you have ideas on concrete action steps you'd want people to take?
Everybody can hear me? Okay. Biggest thing I would say is, like, if you're an employee, go talk to your HR, who's ever in charge of the health insurance.
Yes.
But also, if you're an individual, tell family members and stuff. But the biggest way to get, I guess you could say, change to happen is start hitting their call it the third parties or these providers' checkbooks or take away market share. So what these guys' idea is, part of our struggle is we have 500 truck drivers across the road or all over the country. And so Brian's came to us with solutions that are third-party companies that find, businesses just like his that people can get, care wherever. But the other thing is when we looked at our financials, just the money we save, but also the care our employees get is insane. So you just got to make people aware. We didn't know about it till Dr. Dan told us about it. He introduced us to Brian. So I'd really say if you start telling your leadership teams or who's ever in charge at your company, get them a hold of one of these guys. They can explain the savings, but also the benefits for you. So the company pays less, you get better care. It's a win-win for everyone. It's just a matter of, like these guys are talking about, the advertising, all that stuff. These guys don't have the dollars to compete. So it's just word of mouth and spreading with referrals. That's all I can say.
Go ahead, Scott.
Well, as I said in the talk, look into independent physicians, look into cash pay. But we just saw how many hands of people here are on Medicare, okay? Well, you're saying, I finally gotten to the point in my life where I'm getting free stuff. Why would I want to pay cash? Well, you can't anyway, right? But so you finally reached that, and now you want to take advantage and benefit from the system that you've paid into, right? I understand that, but it's collapsing. It's devouring itself. It's not going to be there much longer. I think Tom Madden would agree. I think it's on a downward glide. It's on a downward glide. So, if you're on Medicare, you're over 65, and so, you're probably not going to live till over 100. So. The bottom line is, it's a broken system. It's failing. Just because you have what you want right now doesn't mean you're going to have what you want in a few years. So this is the reason for change, even if you feel like you're set up pretty well on Medicare.
And my addition to that would be, there's no system, no plan, Medicare, anything else that's in existence today that would not be would not be improved by less corruption, more free market, more patient and doctor partnership, more patient authority and choice. All of those things are a part of your Medicare system. You know, like I said at the very beginning, when you've been in a system that's been broken so long and you don't think it'll ever get better, it really is hard to imagine how good it could be. It's hard to imagine something like the good old days. If we could have the medicine that we had in the golden age of medicine 60, 70 years ago with the technology that doctors have now, it's hard. I mean, it would blow your mind. We're talking about a mind-blowing improvement in healthcare for you now. So if you're really happy with your Medicare, great. It could be better. But what about your kids? What about your grandkids?
Yeah.
Brian, we'll close with you.
I would say if your Medicare, one of the action steps you can do is seek out independent clinics, kind of try to, just for once in a while, try a couple things that aren't the hospital systems. Hand to shoulder orthopedics, OSMS, neurospine and Appleton. There is a bevy of independents out there that are really trying to help. They're really trying to separate from the hospital systems and give them a run for their money. So Medicare people can do that. The main thing I would like to get across, though, is two things, is that start thinking of health insurance like auto insurance and say, you know, are there things that I can pay for just straight up, you know, cash that I don't have to? Just a quick example in my own clinic. I mean, you know, the labs that Aurora charges, gosh, $900 for, $1,000 for, in my clinic, it's like $72 or something. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, and the X-rays that you know, Bellin and things are charging $400, $500, $600 for. My X-rays are like $140, I think, as I checked last. But I mean, this is what we can do for you, and just consider, you know, coming to a direct primary care and paying for some of these things cash just to see how it works, just to see how it feels, you know, to see how it works. And then the last thing is what Dalton said, is that the key to this whole thing, in my opinion, that I realized 5 years ago, is the employers. The employers are the ones that can change this system. They just didn't have a tool until now. But now the employers have a tool. Just tell them to call me.
So, in conclusion, I want to say once more, please help support us. If you would donate to Physicians for Freedom, that would be a big help. We put a lot of work to get this on for you tonight.
You're missing one big thing.
Go ahead.
I didn't know if you announced it. So this was designed to be the first of two talks, okay? This was designed to be the first of two talks. Tonight was kind of a general understanding of what the problems are and why. We are planning the second of two talks, and that one's going to be employer-based. That one's going to be employee health plan-based. It will probably be significantly even larger than this, and that we plan on doing I think we just said early September.
September.
So keep an eye out. That's when we're going to have this thing. It's probably going to be very, very big.
And I would close with two things. Number one, I was talking with someone today, and it was about this, but then how this kind of feeds into politics and policy. And the frustration is that the patient actually told me, saying, well, you know, people are sheep. People are all just sheep. And if you think about it, we are sheep in the sense that we learn from each other. That's how we have to learn when we're young. And as we get older, it's a very, very efficient way of learning the world. You know, if it works for everybody else, it's probably, there's something to it. But the number of true leaders, maybe it's 10% in any population, they're leaders. But leaders are not the ones that have more letters after their name or claim expert authority. I look out into this room right now, and you people are here. And you may not know it, but you are leaders because you cared enough to invest your time and learn. And don't sell that short. Our mission depends on this growing and the word getting out. And people will listen to you. Bring up these topics. Talk to your employer, because people will see, buy a Physicians for Freedom pin and wear it to your next doctor's appointment. Someone will ask you what the hell you're doing. Well, tell them, people will pay attention, and that's how we win. We get this moving and we inform and we help each other. With that, I will thank you very much. I'm so proud to be associated with these gentlemen up here, and so grateful to have your support for us tonight. Thank you very much.